Hey everybody, before I get started, I just want to mention a couple of ways that you can engage with me on a more personal level. I have a few avenues set up and I keep focusing on one, and I figured, why don't I make a short little video talking about all of them real quick before we get into these episodes. So first thing, Patreon. There's a link in the episode description and every episode description to the Patreon, as well as a video on the feed called Major Announcement that has all the details of what each tier offers and how much they cost. I implore you to check that out. I offer a lot of cool shit for my patrons. Second thing, the Discord channel. There's also a Discord link in the episode description and in every episode description. I have multiple channels set up there for each show that I'm covering, and it's a great way to just engage with me. I have a channel set up for MMA talk as well. I'm a big MMA fan, so if you're an MMA fan, you can check that out as well. There's a link to the Discord in the episode description. And then lastly, the Facebook and Twitter. Social media. Follow me on there. I post news on there. When I say news, I mean like, hey, I'm stopping covering this show. Hey, I'm starting covering this show. Let me know what you think about this. I do live watches of things on Facebook where like I'll check in and say, I'm watching so-and-so show. And then I'll like live comment while I'm watching it. And that'll be cool if maybe you watch that show too and you want to watch along with me, or you're watching it later and you will see my thoughts, which are usually pretty entertaining because I'm usually pretty high when I'm writing them. So check out all those links in each episode description, and let's talk about this episode. Peace.
One mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, and today I'm here to talk about Season 2, Episode 7, the unexpected Season 2 finale and series finale of HBO's Winning Time, entitled What Is and What Should Never Be. What should never be is this episode as a finale. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I've never done this before on the channel, really, but I don't have notes. I took notes while I was watching it, and I came to understand what was going on, and I also came to understand that the show had been canceled, not renewed, however you want to frame it. This actually is news that broke as soon as the episode was done airing, but before I watched it. So I had this knowledge going in, and I was taking my notes, and I realized what was happening, and generally I take my notes that I take while I'm watching it and just kind of like write them differently into something that's going to make this a presentable video. I decided to forego doing that because we're not really going to talk about this episode that much. We are, but like what we're going to talk about more so is what I think happened here, because I find it to be disgusting what happened here. It's HBO has spit in the face of all creatives. It's spit in the face of the people who make this show. It's insulting to anyone who wants to create and doesn't want to just shit out fucking Fast and Furious 17 or some other garbage fucking thing. Is disrespectful to people who actually want to make creative, new, and fresh content. For HBO to just shit on these people's project and slap these people in the face and end this show in this way is something that I never thought I would see out of HBO, and it's disgusting. I hate it. It's the opposite of everything that I've come to expect from HBO up to this point. Like now, it's really just FX who gives creators an opportunity to create, and HBO is like, we'll give you an opportunity, but if enough people don't watch it, we're gonna fuck whatever it is that you made. Because it's one thing to cancel it, and it's one thing to say we're not gonna make this anymore. But that's not what happened here. What happened here is they said not only are we not gonna keep this show going, we're gonna fuck the version of the show that you made. And that's what really irritates me, and it irritates me that it's a bunch of fucking black people that they did it to as well. So let's talk about what happened here, or at least what I think happened here. And then let's talk about why I think this episode... So oftentimes when I review a season finale, I talk about the things that I expect the season finale to do. This episode, I think, is a great example of showing a distinction between what I expect out of a non-season finale episode and what I expect out of a season finale. Because this actual episode, episode 7, is a perfectly fine episode on its own, and it is a completely shit finale. And I'm gonna talk about very specifically the difference between those two things. But what I want to start with is the fact that this felt to me very much like, not like we don't have too much confidence in season 2 of Winning Time, so we're only gonna have a 7-episode order. And that may be what happened. Because trust me, guys, I'm not behind the scenes. I don't know the industry. I don't get screeners. Now, I've been accused of getting screeners. Like, what the fuck? Nope, I just sacrifice sleep in order to watch everything and get these videos out for you guys. I don't have any kind of inside info at all. But based on watching this episode and what it felt like, what it came off as, this didn't come off like this was the final episode of a 7-episode order. This came off like they made 10 episodes and HBO said, fuck you, we're not putting out the last 3. Film that shitty fucking "we own this" scene that they put at the end where they're just screaming "we own." What the fuck was that? Put that at the end to kind of like wrap everything up, I guess, and fuck those last 3, you're not getting them. That's what this felt like, because I guess the best way to put this is that there are aspects of this episode that betray what I feel like the story that I feel like this season was trying to tell up to this point, if it is truly meant to be a finale. So I guess let's kind of get into that. So one of the things that jumped out immediately that I didn't like watching this episode is that this whole season, the previous 6 episodes, they built up this inevitable confrontation between Magic and Bird. And they've been building that up, they've been building up the Lakers and the Celtics playing each other, the fuck LA and fuck beat LA, fuck boss, all this, right? They've been building that up. We start this episode right away, 1984 NBA Finals, and then they're just running into the locker room after game 1. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like, we're skipping over games now? And here's my thing. I've been complaining, I haven't been complaining this whole time about the pacing of this show, because what have I been saying? I've been saying they've spent time on the things that mattered and skipped over the things that didn't. And all the way up to this point, the basketball that they've skipped over, I didn't feel like I needed to see. The stuff that they spent time on, the Westhead stuff, the Riley stuff, Magic stuff, Kareem, all of that stuff was really good. But then it was like, once they decided like we're moving toward Magic and Bird, still I'm cool, but now I'm like, okay, we're here, right? Again, if this is the finale, we're here. Why didn't I see any of game 1? Like, you just go straight to the end of game 1. I'm like, well, if this is the series finale or the season finale and the series finale at this point, why are we skipping over, like, Bird and Magic played in this fucking game? Why didn't I fucking see it? And that persists through this episode where, like, you see maybe a play or 2 out of each game, and then it moves on to the next thing, and we see virtually no gameplay. We see virtually no scenes with Magic and Larry Bird other than them, like, glaring at each other from their respective huddles. Like, I think they maybe had 1 to 3 plays where they were guarding each other in this episode with virtually no shit talking other than just, like, bumping them and shit like that while they were arguing. Like, I'm thinking, like, okay, this is what you built up to, is the Magic and Bird relationship and the inevitable matchup, and then you just skip over the whole fucking thing? But here's the difference, though. If this is episode 7, and I'm like, okay, we got 3 more episodes that might put us through to the end of 1985, I'm cool with skipping over 84 and just kind of being like, okay, just know that this was a hard lesson that they learned about, they've been waiting for this matchup against Boston. They finally got it, and they took their eye off the ball. Magic made mistakes, and then now we spent these last 3 episodes, Magic learning from the mistakes he made in that finals, building up to the 85 win. Then this is fine. But as the finale, it looks like all the shit that you worked toward, you threw it out of the fucking window. And I know that the show didn't do that. It's HBO that did that. They said, you want to tell a complete story, you have a vision, and you want to do it creatively, you want to tell it creatively, but not enough eyes are watching it, so fuck you and your project. And that's what I'm not cool with, man. Like, this is so shitty. And then here's another difference between how this works as episode 7 of 10, but doesn't work as a finale, is all the time they spent in this episode on Jeannie and Honey and all that kind of stuff. Because what this looked to me as the viewer of the finale is that the shit that you didn't spend any fucking time on, that didn't work, that you didn't care to actually put effort into, which was the Honey stuff and the Jeannie stuff, now that's all the shit I gotta watch in the finale. I gotta watch all this shit that I don't care about, and the shit that I do care about, which is Magic and Bird and the matchup between the Celtics and the Lakers. We skipping over entire fucking games of that. So, like, that's my problem with this as a finale. But now if it's episode 7 of 10, I'm looking at it like, okay, well, again, I talked about the game stuff. I can look at that as like, okay, now they're putting the amount of effort into the Jeannie storyline, into the Honey storyline, to make it so that maybe I'm going to care about it when it reaches its conclusion in episode 10. So it's like, it just looks like them doing the right things if I got 3 episodes left. If this is the season finale, what the fuck are we doing? So like that's the difference between what I mean when what I expect out of a finale and what I would have expected out of episode 7. But like watching it in this way, I just don't see how any creative would actively work with HBO at this point, because HBO isn't just tossing stuff out of the window. It's tossing stuff out of the window that people, not just people worked hard on, because everybody who created everything that's on HBO worked hard, but like the people who really pushed the envelope. You can't even find Westworld on there anymore. And here's the thing, Westworld fell off to me, but Westworld is an important fucking show because they took a property that was really difficult to adapt and that had a shitty movie that was already tied to it, and they made something new, something fresh, something creative that really pushed the envelope and challenged people. And now Zaslav comes in and says, fuck that show. Let's put on a whole bunch of fucking rehab shows instead. And that's what gets on my fucking nerves. Like, why would you get Westworld off of there? They got rid of Insecure, a show, you know, that a black woman who came from nothing made it to a huge fucking hit for your channel. And you're just like, yeah, Netflix can have this now. And then now these black people come along and take a story that everyone knows, like, well, not everyone, but like a story that you could, again, easily look up. Who won an NBA championship in 1985? You could look that up. Not everybody. I don't want to be like Donald Trump and say that everybody knows something and it's something only he knows. But like a lot of people know that Magic has AIDS. Like these aren't things that people are gonna learn from the TV show necessarily. But they took events that are known by a large number of people and are largely things that stories you're not gonna necessarily be able to tell creatively in this kind of long form. And they found creative ways to do it. Shooting it differently, cutting it, editing it differently, like all of these different things that they've done to help take this material and tell this story creatively. And HBO spit in their fucking faces, man. And like I said, these is black people, man, the same people that made Insecure. And like, if this had been a fucking white show about the Celtics, would they have been so quick to say fuck you and like do this where it's like I said, it's one thing to say this is your last season, or another thing to not renew a show. But this felt like they cut them off at the legs. Like, oh, you have a 10 episode story? Well, fuck you. You get 7 episodes. Make it work. And then like and it ends up terrible and it's disrespectful and it doesn't. It's not consistent with anything that they've tried to do to this point. And it just came off like they had no choice. Like they ended with that shitty fucking we own. Like what was it? We own this. Like it's almost like they knew. Well, I mean, if they had to film that scene after the fact, they would have known. But like, it's almost like it was their kind of way of saying "fuck you" back, because that scene was so shitty and pointless that it's like, why did you even film this? But I feel like HBO was like, put something on the end of it, and then you have to hear like, yeah, they ended up winning in 1985, and they won all these other times, and Magic beat him this many times. All the things that you wanted to get to on the show, you got to put in the fucking credits with, you know, the fucking a picture of the cast on it and shit, like a fucking eulogy, because the show doesn't give a fuck. I mean, the HBO doesn't give a fuck about the people who want to make this show, and like that's what. I don't know. That's why I didn't feel like talking about the episode. I wanted to talk about how shitty I think this is. I want to talk about why this didn't work as a finale, but it could have worked as episode 7. I want to talk about just how unfair I thought all of this was. But at the end of the day, episode 7 of season 2 of Winning Time was a fine episode. I can't even say how I would have judged it as 7 of 10, because I watched it as 7 of 7, and it doesn't work as a finale at all. Example: how was the lawsuit resolved? Yeah, so like it's. I just don't understand how a network that I have been praising as the home of the best content and the people who make the best work, all of that is at HBO. And Zaslav comes in and says, I don't care about any of that. I want to make this whole network a joke. And I want people to feel like they can't create here. Their shows can't be safe here because they can be dropped at any minute. Your project can be fucked at its ass by our decision making, where you don't even get to do the whole fucking thing. And now it's become a place where I can't imagine anybody wants to work. And it's sad to see it have gotten there. And I'm sure some other great show will probably come along. And I'm sure one House of the Dragon can probably pay for 10 of this show. But they're still so fucking greedy that it's like, oh no, that's not gonna work out. So like, yeah, this finale is, much love to Winning Time. I have loved watching this show every week. I was super excited for this episode before I understood what was happening. And I feel like had they got the opportunity to complete this season, it probably would have ended up in my top 10 because it was destined to be in my top 10. But this was so bad. It's such a terrible way to end it. I don't know if I could justify it, even though I don't lay the blame for this at the feet of the creators. It still is like a 7-episode season that ends this terribly. I can't in good conscience include it in my top 10. But I would have if this season had played out probably how it should have or how they wanted it to. And I don't know, guys. I'm really, really disappointed in a show that I've really enjoyed watching for a season and a half, ending this way, being fucked by fucking old white corporate greed, and now this is what we end up with: a show that just a show that ends as unceremoniously as possible, and that it will just be gone. Like no one's gonna be like, hey, you should go watch Winning Time. Like when you know that it's gonna end like in an unsatisfactory way, you're not gonna get a complete story, and not even that, you're just gonna get the rug completely pulled out from under you, and you're just gonna lose everything before they even really got the ball rolling. Who's gonna sign up to start that at season 1, episode 1? No one. So like, I don't know. They're not even gonna get like residuals off of streams because people probably aren't even gonna watch this, after the fact. And it's just so sad. I'm disgusted at what HBO has become. I'm disgusted at this Zaslav cunt. Like I'm so over all of this, and I hope somebody else picks this up, and I hope that we see the final 3 episodes. I don't know if that's possible, but like, I don't know. I hope somebody picks it up and maybe make the final 3 episodes as the first 3 of a new season. I don't know. Pretend like what happened here didn't happen. But I don't know. I'm really disappointed, you guys. I'm pissed off, obviously. It shouldn't have ended this way. But shout out to this show. I've loved it while it was on. Sorry we're not going to see it again. Let me know your interpretation of what you feel happened here. Like, did you feel like this was a satisfactory season and series finale? I don't know how you possibly could, considering that we didn't even see anything between Bird and Magic, and Bird ain't even, the Lakers didn't even, it's called The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. The show ends before they win the championship that they want to win. Like, I don't see how this could be satisfactory, but let me know if you found it satisfactory. And I don't know when, I don't know. I'll see you guys if this comes back and gets picked up somewhere. Otherwise, I'll see you guys for Only Murders in the Building on Tuesday. And until then, peace.